Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today I'm going to talk about a stock that I just sold. So I did sell this company in full out of my portfolio, and I'll break down the reasons why I actually sold this company. So this company that I sold, and I was originally going to take a 40% profit on it, but because of the jump it did have on Monday, it meant that I actually took a 50% profit on it, which was pretty good. And it's a company that is, for me, a spec stock and was always a bit of a, could have, short-term hold but high rewards. And that's what it gave to me. And this company was Workhorse. Now, I think you guys might be surprised to hear me say that I sold out this company, but I'll kind of talk you through why I sold out this company, and maybe that after I kind of break it down, you might be able to see my point of view of why I took my 50% profit from Workhorse. So if you could smash the like button, if you are new, subscribe. If you want to know what I'm buying and selling, when I am buying and selling them, make sure you join my Patreon group, guys. There's a link there in the description and you'll be able to see what I'm buying and selling in full. And this stock that I did sell, I probably will be using some of these profits to go buy some more companies later in the week, or by the time this video goes up, I probably would have already bought them, and I might reveal them towards the end of the week. But first of all, I'll kind of talk through my thinking behind this position. So Workhorse for me was always going to be a bit of a spec stock, and with spec stocks I mean that it is kind of high risk, high reward. And the thing is with this sort of company is that I was from the point of view that I could potentially hold this for the long term, but it would have to stay around $18. Now we're talking about a company that has shot up in value, and the whole kind of spec stock space and high spec stocks are kind of going a little bit crazy at the moment, and that makes me a little bit nervous because I'm thinking there's a little bit of people carried away here. There's a bit of FOMO going on in the market, and I don't like that sort of situation. That's where I kind of look at a lot of these companies. I think, right, I'm going to take my risk off the table, I'm going to take my rewards and go use it somewhere else. And like I say, Workhorse was always one of those spec stocks for me. And now that I've got offered the opportunity to take a 50% gain, I thought I'll take that gain. It was a pretty decent gain. So like I say, when I talk about spec stocks, I always think you should have 10% of your portfolio dedicated to spec stocks, which is money that you don't mind losing, but in the same time you can probably make a lot of big rewards very quick or very high over a long term. Now for me, Workhorse, I've had the company in my portfolio for probably 3-4 months, so having a 50% gain in 3 or 4 months is insane. Like, name me any other thing in like what you could put your money in and get a 50% return in like 3 months or 4 months. There's not much. So from a spec stock, completely it smashed what I wanted to do. It was high risk, and at some points I was down quite a bit, but at the same time now I've got a 50% reward from it, and I've nearly got a big increase in my money that I can put somewhere else. So it was always a spec stock, not something like a long-term hold in my portfolio that I'm holding for 2 years to 5 years like your Microsoft, your Facebook and everything like that. So like I say, it was a spec stock, and it was high risk, high reward, and I got a pretty decent reward from it. And like I say, I'm going to take that now and not risk it anymore and move on. The next thing when I looked at this company was the reward side of it. So like I say, I'm looking at this company, and sure, I might look a bit of an idiot in maybe a week's time because the company goes up a lot more than this, but I've got to weigh up my risk to reward here. And Workhorse, a company that pretty much makes hardly any money. I mean, it makes what, like 100, 200k a year or something like that. And it probably won't make loads for a while yet. I mean, it's not making loads of money for a company that's now worth above 3 billion. And I'm looking thinking, my local fish and chip shop makes more money than this company here that's now valued at, $3 billion. And I'm thinking, how much more is it going to go up from this? We're going to talk about a company that makes no money that's going to go to a 4 billion company, 5 billion company. And I'm like, this is a high valuation for a company that doesn't have much to show for it. So I'm looking at the risk to reward now, and I was like, let's not risk this, what I've got. And I thought that was another thing that came into my head. And that kind of links me up with my next point, which was the last quarter, which I believe was Q3, and also the United States Postal, I can't spell it, United States Postal Service, there we are. God, that was hard work. I had it right first time. United States Postal Service contract. Now, Q3 was horrible. And I think the big thing with Q3 is that we look at it now and go, without this contract, this company looking at that Q3 is screwed. It cannot keep up with production. It is definitely not a company that you want to be in. People say, oh, it might be okay if you don't get this contract. I think it's if it doesn't get the contract, it's knackered. And that's what I mean. I could look a bit of an idiot because if they do get this contract in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, like, yeah, what an idiot. But at the same time, what if we don't get this for a month? What happens if we don't get this for 3 months? What happens if we don't get this for 6 months? What happens if we don't get it for a year? And, that kind of, starts affecting the company longer term. And, they need to get this contract. If they do not get the contract, the company's going to suffer. And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if they are going to get that contract. If they don't get the contract, the company is going to struggle, and we have no confirmation on that contract. We're supposed to get it in October. We ain't got it in October. Will we get it this year? We're supposed to get it this year, but if we don't, the company doesn't have anything else in place, I feel, that will help it in the long term. So I'm kind of relying on someone else for this company to kind of go, yeah, we'll give you that contract. And I don't really like that. And that's why I mean the risk to reward at this valuation, at like a 3 billion valuation, was just a little bit too much. So that kind of came into play. And that kind of links me up with my other point as well about, the company not having the right things in place if it doesn't get the contract. Because you look at the balance sheet, every kind of few months this company doesn't get this contract. This is getting worse and worse. This is by far the company the company that I was invested in that had the worst balance sheet. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was a 10 out of 10 worst balance sheet ever. It was something that I really hardly ever go to and buy a company with that balance sheet. And the longer this happens, the longer we kind of hit these quarters without this is getting worse and worse because they're taking more debt on and it's getting more ugly. And that makes me quite nervous to carry on hold this company for a longer term. And this kind of led me on to the last point, which was this guy here, the CFO of Workhorse. This guy was making me very, very nervous because I was looking at the company and I'm thinking, such a poor quarter from Workhorse. We're relying on this. And this is really bad. This guy, the CFO, needs to be thinking, right, if we're going to carry on doing these quarters and this is getting worse, I need to manage this. I need to cost cut like crazy and I need to make sure we are in a good position. And what else he needs to be doing is making sure that if this is happening, this needs to get scaled up as quick as we can. Because if we don't scale this up and we don't get money coming in, remember, we got a 3 billion valuation here. We need to get this contract off and going. I need to be managing my company here to be ready for this, to get it going straight away. And either he should be cost cutting and preparing for a longer term outlook and making sure the balance sheet's in a good position because it needs it because of these quarters it's putting in. And he needs to be ready for this because if this contract gets landed, it should be right, it's not happening this month, so let's knock these deals back in place. Let's knock these part orders back in place and everything like that. But this guy here, I'm not going to name names here, but this guy has been on, and I'm sure you can guess which channel I'm talking about here. This guy's been on a YouTube channel doing interviews 3 times in the last 6 months. I mean, what's he playing at? This guy is doing interviews on YouTube. I mean, I don't know if he's doing it for free, if he's doing it for publicity, for stock gains. Maybe the management are more interested in getting, stock gains than the actual having a successful company. But man, I don't want my management team doing YouTube interviews with someone that has, a decent sized channel. But man, I'm putting my money into your company. You should not be doing that. You should not be doing. I mean, fair enough. Maybe do 1 interview, but 3 interviews in the last 6 months? Like, come on, man, give me a break. I'm putting my money into your company and you're doing interviews on YouTube. And I mean, why? Is it publicity for the stock? But man, with what you've just pulled out, that should be the last priority right there. And that made me really nervous. So, I mean, the combination of this and everything like this, I just thought, right, got 50% profit here. Take it out. There's other opportunities out there. I can go put the money in now where I see 100% upside in very good companies. And I look at this, a spec stock that's getting, with these factors coming in, I think, let's take, the risk off the table now. Let's take that reward. Let's go put it in something else that can make us even more money. And with a combination of all these things, I just thought, it's time for me to move on from this one. And like I say, I might look a bit of an idiot because if they get this contract, it might go up. I mean, with the kind of FOMO that's going on, it might go up to $30, $32. But put it this way, I'm going to sleep a lot better at night thinking about this and everything that's going on and taking my money, and like I say, profit's profit, 50% profit, very happy, increase my money by quite a bit, and now I can go put this money into a new company with massive upside, like a Tattoo Chef, Dropbox, Beyond Meats, anything like that. So something like on them sort of lines is where I can go to put this money to better work now. So I thought I'd update you with that situation, saying that I did sell out this company and kind of my thoughts process behind it, and hopefully you found it useful anyway. And if you did, smash the like button. If you are new, subscribe, and I might see you on the next video.